Beautiful morning, sunny morning in Sugar Creek, Ohio, about 8 a.m. and shot some footage yesterday of working the liner lock, setting the detent, and I am so happy because the one thing about doing a tutorial, especially when I'm busy, is that I'm really worried about is I'm going to make some fatal error, a mistake, and then, delay being able to, shoot the rest of this tutorial. And so thankfully it's gone well, and setting the detent is not always easy, and that's a place where it's easy, at least for me anyway, to make a mistake, and it turned out good. So without further ado, I'd like to show you the process. And again, I like the little camera I used to video with, but the battery's old, so it doesn't hold a charge for a long time. So I've got to kind of constantly watch. And unfortunately, I missed a little bit of footage. Just wasn't recording. But I think I've been able to explain it and show it, and it should be clear. So let's take a look at that. So as you can see, I've got some 1/16 of an inch diameter ball bearings. These are from bearingballstore.com. I got them on eBay. And I'm just chucking up a 1/16 inch drill bit to drill the hole that the detent ball is going to go down into. And you got to be real careful here in drilling. As you can see, I've drilled down a little bit, and I don't want to go too far. The most common mistake that you can make is drilling this hole too deep or too shallow. I want it to be just past the equator of this little sphere, so that when I set the titanium around it, it will come up over halfway and will hold the detent ball securely in place. So you can see right here that the ball bearing is sitting down into that little hole, and I'll push it down a little bit more, but it's just perfect. Okay, so I lost the footage. My camera battery ran out, but tried to get a close-up here and show you a little bit what I did. You can see those 4 little holes. I used a very sharp punch and punched little holes so it squeezes the titanium over the ball bearing, much like you would set a stone in a ring. And what that does is it just lifts the titanium over the ball and holds it in there very securely. So the next step then is I just assemble the knife, and the detent is pressing against the blade right now, and so I'm going to open and close the blade several times, make sure that it closes completely. And what this is going to do is the detent is actually going to scratch into the steel because it's not heat treated yet, and that's going to give me a little bit of a track to show how the detent runs along the blade, and then I can drill a detent hole in the blade to hold it closed when the liner's closed. So one more quick thing too, I'm going to scrape a little bit out of the G10 right here, and that's going to make it so that the liner lock will recess in there a little bit. So here's what the blade looks like, and you can see the track going along there, and I'm going to come to where the track ends and then just go a couple thousandths, maybe 1/1000th of an inch, 2/1000ths of an inch above it, and then drill a hole like that. So this is where you need to be careful. If you can see, hopefully it can pick it up if I can get the angle right. That's not too bad, but you can see the track here that the detent ball made, and then what I did is I just went beyond where this ended and drilled a 1/16 inch hole. And the trouble with these, and it can be so frustrating, I made a lot of mistakes making these and end up making another blade, but you can, if you drill the detent hole too far down this way, the knife can close, and then when it hits the detent, you can actually push it down a little bit and stuff, and it's just not right. It doesn't hold right, and so that you have to finesse that a little bit. And I still make lots of mistakes, and thankfully this turned out great. I put the knife together, click, it clicked right down in there. And again, I relieved a little bit of the G10. So if you can imagine, this is what your lock looks like, and the detent ball is sticking out just a little bit. So when it's closed, it would be super tight, pressing up against it. So I just used a sharp blade and just scraped the G10 to relieve this, so that when the liner closes, it can actually press a little further back. So the detent is in the hole, but then when you have the whole thing locking up and engaging and disengaging the liner, that it can go past where it needs to be, and that also helps a lot. There's a lot of factors in that. It depends on how thick your washers are and several things like that. But this lockup is great, and I'm so thankful for that. So anyway, that's how you do that. All that's left really now is for me to heat treat the blade, to assemble it, and it'll be ready to go. I'm thinking about maybe oxidizing the blade black, to kind of match the screws, and I have a process that I can do that, get that black oxide look on the blade. Maybe bead blasting everything. I'll see too about maybe anodizing the liners and the spacer. That'd be pretty cool. So anyway, really in the home stretch now, and thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the weekend.